Hey yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Rad Stowe back at it again with yet another banger, and I'm in the whip right now queuing up for another banger. Alright, as you can tell, this is not the Tahoe, this is not the FRS, and this is not the DC5. What it is a Honda. And after months and months of this car sitting in my backyard, I finally took the time to mess with the ignition, take that apart, and get this car running again. Runs beautifully. It ran good whenever I got it. This is also a 5-speed. So if you know these chassis and you know what this is, you already know what I got planned for 2023. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but that is not this video. What this video is about is the S2000 Cluster swap in the DC5. I know some people have documented this on swapping the cluster into their cars, but I want to redo it. Those videos are like a year, 2 years old, so let me go ahead, grab you the cluster because I already finished that up. Here's the finished product of the cluster, the S2000 cluster and the RSX cluster housing, I guess you could call it. But this is pretty much the final project. I did follow Demonzi, I think his name is, on YouTube on putting the tach reset, I think that button is called, on there. But yeah, this thing came out nice. I just need to polish up the plastic a little bit, and this thing is mint. So without hogging up the intro too long, let's get to it, baby. So these are the clusters that I'm using for my swap. I have a 04 to 06 base model RSX cluster, and then I have a early generation AP1 cluster. You can tell because it has the 9K red limiter and it doesn't have the line that goes underneath it. What I need to do is take this off and remove this from this bottom part. And then real quick, in order to get this piece out of here, you just pull it out and that'll come out just like that. And then this is all that we're gonna need. And then from here, we're gonna need to take off pretty much all of these clips so that it fits around the S2000 cluster. With this from Cube Engineering, I believe it's called. So originally I was gonna have all this white and then red, but kind of changed my mind, unfortunately, after I bought this, and I picked up some red tint. So you don't need to pick up one of these if you want to red it out. It's fine, you can use the original one and then throw over some transparent tape or some red tint, and then that'll be fine. I think I might do that, or I might just throw it on that one. We'll see, but go ahead, put this red tint on one of these, and then we'll get back to the cluster swap. And if you don't have your SRS or your ABS hooked up and you have that light on, you can go ahead, twist these out, and then that way you don't have any more lights on the dash. I went ahead, put a few layers of red on here. Didn't come out the greatest, but you know, that is okay for what I need. So I'm gonna go ahead, put this back here, make sure that's sitting flush, put this down, and then I'm gonna go ahead, wipe this down so that it looks a little bit cleaner, a little bit better, because after this is gonna be sitting over that, so you're not gonna be able to clean this. So right now, clean that, and then we'll move on to this. You're gonna need this bezel that pretty much sits underneath these two tabs, and just like that. So Demonzi actually traced out his that he had, and I printed that right here, and then I also made the template. But you're gonna have to mess with the print settings, because if you see this right here, it kind of lines up, but you're gonna need to like cut this and mess with that. And then I just didn't like the way that looked, so I ended up just picking one up, and as expected, you know, it fits really nice. And once you got that fitted on there, you'll use the same screws that you took off for the brackets to hold the bezel on there. I got all of these tabs broken off, and you can see it sits flush. And then down here, you are gonna have to break off those two tabs on the cluster itself, because there's a huge gap, and the only way to get rid of that is to break these off. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but you do have to break these off. If your cluster is in like some mint condition, then use that, because I didn't really think about this, but this being old, I'm gonna need to hit this with like some polish or something to get this looking right. But for now, cleaned off the inside. The inside is good. I mean, it doesn't get touched. So I'm gonna go ahead, put this on here, and then there's a couple other videos on how to do this, but I'll go ahead and explain it on this one as well. I'm gonna get some zip ties, zip tie from here to there. That's why you need to leave these tabs on there. So I'm gonna go ahead, zip tie from here to here, and then put a little bit of tape up here, and we should be rocking. I forgot to mention that I'm also gonna be putting this back in here and filling up that hole just so it looks a little bit better. And then you're gonna go to your cluster, and then there's gonna be a little like lock nut in there. All you need to do, really easy to take this out, is to pull this up and then get a screwdriver and work this out, and then it'll come out. After you got that loosened up, go ahead, take off the back cover, all the screws on here, and then this is what we're gonna be taking out. Zip tying this onto here, super easy. All you need to do is go from the top one to this outside, and then the bottom one to this inside one. Repeat on both sides. I'm just gonna throw some tape on that over there, and then like I said, I have to throw some tape on down there, unfortunately, but this is looking more and more done. I did put this tack reset, or the light. I don't know exactly what this did or what this does in the RSX, but I went ahead and put that on there. It does look a lot better with that on there. So go ahead, tape this up, and should be done. And here is more or less the final product. I still want to clean the outside of this, but for the most part, everything is done. I just put a little bit of tape up there that holds that flush. Went all along. Got some duct tape, tore it in half, put some up here, another half right there, tore some more, put some right there. And then the zip ties, as you can see, that top one going to the outside, and then the bottom one going to the inside. And then I also put some electrical tape down here because unfortunately I have those two gaps. But all in all, this came out pretty good, I'd have to say. Not bad. And I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If so, leave it a like, leave it a comment, let me know what you think. Keeps me motivated to keep making these videos. I am going to be doing the swap harness. Whenever I get that in, I'm going to try to explain it as best as I can and fix that common issue with the temp sensor, the fuel gauge, and the miles per hour. Hopefully I'm able to do all that. If not, I'll still make a video on it. But y'all be easy out there, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Later.